Bill doing Apple's Blast from the Past. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another exciting year at Kansasfest and all the fun we've been doing at A.P.P.L.E. And it's been a busy year for our user group that started in 1978. And we're just going to start with a quick recap of who we are and some of the things we do for some of the new people in the audience. We have Bill, who strangely has decided to come this year. This is Bill.
I'm not actually here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess this is what something from Star Trek. Hologram. Yes, of course. And me, of course, Jim Maricondo, and Mr. Retro Bright himself, Javier, who does a lot of writing for us. And Call-A.P.P.L.E actually began in 1978 with Val Goulding as a user group and a magazine. And since then, we've published over 30,000 pages over a number of years, lots of different books. And we've actually continued, as we announced last year, with the magazine, bringing it back to life, doing a digital version for our paid members. And we did release one issue last year. We've been rather distracted creating products, so we say that it's on a random schedule. We intended to have it released more frequently, but at the moment we have one issue out and we've got another one coming very soon. The last issue was 40 pages, full color, things we don't have on the website, some unique reviews and interviews and special features. So we aim it at unique content. And besides the magazine, of course, for everyone at large, we've always promoted the latest in retro and current news, both with the Apple II and the Mac. And it's totally volunteer. We're always looking for volunteer writers if any of you want to contribute. Would love to have you on board helping. And among our different products, of course, we, just like Nibble did, we released the Mac A.P.P.L.E magazine back in the day, and we currently have 11 issues online. We've got a lot more scanned we need to prepare. We're only missing 4 issues, so we're trying to complete that set.
How many issues were there in total?
Master Bill.
Between 32 Little Apples and Mac A.P.P.L.E, I believe there were about 35 issues. And it spanned from 1984 until 1988.
And of course, the Australian Apple Review from 84 to 87, and we've got all those online. But we don't just do books and magazines. We host a number of different websites and resources at Apple Archives. That's where you'll find the Applied Engineering site, Beagle Brothers, so many different pieces of software and links to other sites and so forth in the community. And speaking of Applied Engineering, here it is, a place where the one-stop place you can go for all the manuals, firmware, disk images, catalogs, the Applied Engineering cookbook, some dealer news and brochures I bought online a few years back. And we are also the official Beagle Brothers repository at Apple Archives. And the original authors and owners have contributed to it and endorsed it, so we're very proud of that. And not stopping there, we also have virtualapple.org, where we've been having in-browser emulation for quite a number of years.
Quite a number of years.
Quite a number of years. I'm sure Bill could give us the exact number, since that's been a labor of his.
Since 2003, we've had that online. There's a number of other game sites that we've also added. GameSite, which is the homepage for all the different game sites we have. The instant menu for almost every type of emulation you can imagine. There's a few that we haven't put up yet, but they're coming.
And loving education, we also love MECC. Over 250 titles they produced. It's still in use by over 1,200 schools globally, and this is the official archive that is contributed to and supported by at least a couple of the original presidents. And it's all freely available in browser through, ultimately through virtualapple.org, but if you just go to mecc.co, that's the primary site. And beyond the software, we've also started to remaster and enhance the original manuals, laying them out, improving the layout, adding extra screenshots, trying to add value to the original product as well. And pretty much the first new book we released back in 2013, when we were all lucky enough to meet Steve Wozniak here, was the WozPack Special Edition. And this was a remastering of the original photocopied notes and printouts that served as the original when it was published back in the 70s. And we spent about 8 months restoring Woz's handwriting so you could actually read everything. And he and several other Apple people like Andy Hertzfeld wrote forwards for it. So it's pretty awesome if you want to really dive into Woz's mind and go back to the day. And now we are actually moving forward in time to some of our newer projects. And it has been one crazy year. And I think now it's time for a little introduction video here.
Hey Santa, the machine cranked out another book.
Another book?
And it looks like we could use some volume from our, yeah, okay, cool.
Hey Santa, the machine cranked out another book.
Another book? Ah, yes. The Call-A.P.P.L.E 1978 Compendium. That's right. Every issue of Call-A.P.P.L.E magazine from 1978. Now you can have your copy today. Some of your favorite Apple authors are in there. Randy Wigginton, Roger Wagner, Steve Wozniak, Val Golding, and yes, even CEO Michael Scott. Check it out today at books.callapple.org. And stay tuned, because here soon we will have one more for you. What's Where in the Apple Enhanced Edition. That's right. Go to books.callapple.org today.
Yeah, I never knew Santa was a fan, so. The man has many talents. And the 78 Compendium, we released that late last year after Kansasfest. There were only 10 issues in that year, and they're pretty much impossible to find. And they've all been fully restored. There's actually an introduction from Val Golding, written back in the day, and Bill, of course, as well, since he's been deeply involved in A.P.P.L.E for years, long before I joined. And it's available in hardback and paperback. Thank you, Vanna. And our brand new project of the year, 5 months of design, editing, enhancing, organizing, and something that was a very enthusiastic collaboration, which you have heard of. Good old Nibble Viewpoints, business insights from the computing revolution. And I should point out, as Mike did, that the beautiful artwork on the front cover is his art that he designed in Bryce. So it's not just some random image we picked. And he's done a number of amazing images. And when I saw this one, when I was designing the cover, to me this just encapsulated everything he was trying to communicate, navigating through the maze of decisions and life and finding some clarity and rainbows at the end. So I love that art of his. But what is Nibble Viewpoints? Well, of course, we all know what Nibble Magazine is back in the 80s and the 90s. And there wasn't just Nibble Magazine. There were 3 other publications. and every month he wrote the Viewpoint column, and he visited business concepts, business and personal advice, things going on in the industry, and there were over 180 viewpoints in all that we looked at and edited to come up with this book, which is 474 pages. And it covers over 50 on business advice, starting, marketing, service development, and growth. And then in the history section, just to give it a nice separation, Apple-specific history, several articles specifically on piracy, and then things more specific to what was going on with Nibble and Nibble Mac magazines. And I think it's important to say that this isn't just a copy-paste rehash of, oh, here's a viewpoint, let's throw it in a book and be done. It was so much more than that, taking the 5 months. You know, you add 50 and 60, that's clearly not 180. Mike often revisited concepts in his books across the multiple publications, expanding ideas, removing some content due to space concerns, and changing titles and things. And so went in and actually created hybrid versions. So where this is supposed to be an educational resource, you don't want to read 4 articles that are covering multiple elements of the same thing. So created a perfectly merged, with Mike's approval, versions of many of the articles. So it's a much more coherent educational experience. And we're really very proud of it. And of course, Mike wrote his personal history and a foreword for the book, and we released it a couple months ago. And it is, of course, available in paperback and hardback. And I did want to say, for those of you perhaps who have ordered the book and you weren't able to get it here for Kansasfest, I did create some very beautiful signed bookmarks. Mike signed when he was here. It's a front and back representation of the book. And you're welcome to have one of those if you've purchased the book. And if you haven't purchased the book yet and you'd like to order it this weekend, happy to give you one of those bookmarks as well, so you can have something signed by Mike. And the next project, oh, and actually, just to go on a little bit on that subject, I have to say, collaborating with Mike and creating Nibble Viewpoints, and at least speaking for myself, has been a very rewarding experience on so many levels. He's an incredible man, and we are really all very fortunate that the Kansasfest committee brought him out so we could meet him. Moving on, our next pile of insanity. Just wait a second there, Bill. I know you're really anxious, so am I. This we talked about last year. We thought maybe we'd have another month and be done with it, but it turned out between the two of us, we spent over 4,000 hours, multiple levels of proofreading, revising, finding areas to fix, and that, of course, is What's Where in the Apple Enhanced Edition. And it is so much more than enhanced with everything that is in this as a complete guide to the Apple II computer, originally published over 30 years ago. And it is an official guidebook to all the firmware, hardware architecture of the Apple II. And it was produced fully in coordination with Robert Tripp, the original copyright holder. He wrote a foreword and a history of what's where in the Apple, just for this edition. And like all of our productions where we are detailed perfectionists, we fixed so many errors in the original what's where, things that were missing that were never there, things that were in earlier editions but forgot to be included in later editions. So it's a very comprehensive volume, but we didn't just fix things that were there, we expanded on it. Bill wrote a brand new chapter covering all the 2E models as well as the 2C, and the corresponding Atlas and Gazetteer that provides the detailed memory map and commands of exactly what's going on in every place. As well, we have fully expanded Chapter 1. So we start with an overview of all of the Apple II models and a nice comparison table. So it serves as a better introduction for a beginning user.
Hang on a second, Vanna's a little slow here.
Vanna? I don't know anyone named Vanna. And beyond that, because I like making things more readable, it's a lot more readable. We've got monospaced fonts. You can clearly see where zeros are. We've clarified descriptions. So rather than just seeing Getlin, you'll actually see the address where it's located in memory. We've expanded abbreviations. We just wanted to make it easy to read, as easy as possible. And here we've got a quick before and after, the old what's where, same chapter in the new. An example of one of the tables, a little easier to read. And moving to the atlas, our new enhanced edition is at the top, where you can see we've converted everything from the all caps to sentence case and title case, as well as all of the expansion. So it's as simple and as approachable as this material can possibly be for the novice or advanced user. And as I joked yesterday, what's not included? We have not included legacy mistakes, wrong addresses, personal favorite of ours, get none. I don't know if there's some hidden meaning there, but it really should be get num. And high mem really in the old book was high men, which perhaps is what was happening at the time this was originally written. I know there were days we wished we were a little bit high, but maybe we should have left the original alone. And as well, all complete programs in the book are available on a DSK, which we will have available on our website in the next week, freely downloadable. And it is, at this point, practically 600 pages, which is quite a number more pages than the original was. It's a beast. And to that end, you might think, well, this thing is so thick, how can I possibly pop it open somewhere and have it stay open? Actually, the binding on either the paperback or the hardback lays open very nicely. I've spaced the center, so there's plenty of white space, so you're not having to break it to actually read what's on the inside. And at 30 minutes after our session today, everything new we'll be talking about print-wise will be available for order on our website. So it is available today. Thank you. And I do have to say, I think this might be our craziest project to date. I know we felt crazy at the end, and we are very pleased to make it available to you.
What are you talking about?
I don't know, but I'm anxious to do something else. And, well, speaking of another something else, talked about this one last year that took place in 4 different time zones, finally finished. And as we say here, we certainly felt smashed. And
I'm back.
Except, and okay, so I've already given it away, but we could use a little more volume from our volume person, please.
Audio technician, please.
How's the volume on your computer?
Maximum.
Okay.
I'm back. Did y'all miss me? Yes, Santa here. And you know, we've got some really good news today. I was trying to take a little bit of time and relax. Miss Claus, well, you know how she is. She won't let me take much time off. Besides, we went scuba diving and the fish were nibbling on my beard. So I had to get back to work. And you know, we are happy to announce that Structress is finally here. Today, in the iTunes store. You can download it, play it on your iPhone, play it on your iPad. You like fun, don't you? Well, avoiding those blocks falling on your head? That sounds like fun to me. So, go to the iTunes App Store and download Structress today.
Yay. So yay, we are very pleased that, yay, it is available. And it is available for both the iPhone and iPad, optimized for both screens. Originally written by Martin Hay, who we all know and love. But again, just like all of our projects, it's not just, here's the same thing, new package. It's been expanded, enhanced, and Martin did new programming for it. He's changed the way the scoring works. There's now unlimited levels rather than ending at 10. It gets faster and crazier. Bill also did some coding for it on the Apple II side, adding features and helping with the interface for iOS, in addition to Olivier. And Bill and I were both producing partners on this, of course. And then the music you heard in the video was by Tomoki Takamori, a very good composer, and has Game Center touch controls, things you'd expect, and title page, little in-game action. And again, you're the little white dot. You're directing where the blocks are falling and trying to avoid being crushed in the process while you're trying to complete full lines on the bottom and have them drop off. And on the later levels, you do have a little less space to work with to make it a little fun. And random snarky messages at the end when you die. More snarky messages to come. And we did release this in April for $1.99. Our primary site is structurist.com. It's, of course, also linked on Call-A.P.P.L.E, easily found on the iTunes Store. And now we're going to do a little demo for those of you who might want to see the action.
Actually, just give it to Javier, let him do it.
You think?
I don't know. Can he play it?
I don't know. Do I dare trust Javier with my phone?
No. No, check his hands for retro bright.
That's right.
You better turn out your pockets at the end of this, right?
Nope.
Nope.
He wants special K-Fest pricing.
Yeah, I want a special Kansas pricing. It's
There
too high for
already
me.
is special K-Fest pricing.
Let's see, do I want to die soon or not? Well, I guess I need to spend more time playing the game and less time designing things. So there's the very quick demo. Quickest demo in the history of game demos, evidently. Yes, I call myself a gamer. I used to be an avid gamer, but I guess I've got another goal. At any rate, moving right along, our next project, we like bringing things forward from the past, and this has a lot of peaks. I seem to be a little extra loud at the moment. I'm okay? Okay. It has a lot of peaks, pokes, and calls. It's hardback and paperback, 50 pages, also available now. And that classic is the Apple II monitor P.L.E. New back cover, remastered again, out of print since 1980, over 127, or actually, you know what? Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah, this is also available. This one actually is available right now.
No longer $99 on eBay.
And in hardback for the first time. So evidently, I was just so excited to move on. But now that we're moving on, this particular project has been out of print since 1980. It is 127 pages, painstakingly restored, especially on the cover. Has a brand new preface by David H. All, available in hardback and paperback shortly after our session. What could this possibly be? And that is the Colossal Cartoon Book Enhanced Edition. Originally from Creative Computing Press, produced in coordination with copyright holder David All, and he was awesome to work with. He wrote a new preface for it. There's the back cover, which did not exist on the original edition. And one of the sample cartoons, what hurts is I wasn't replaced by a whole computer, just a transistor. I know I felt that way. And it's really a fun collection of period cartoons on a variety of topics: dating, office, robots, mainframe computers, a little random, any kind of technology, kind of humor. And it's really quite fun.
Things us older folks would understand.
Hey, I'm not old. Not me.
I think that was the point.
Well, I'm a kid at heart anyway, so. By the way, I should probably pause for a minute. Anybody have any questions or comments so far about anything we've talked about? Okay. So, two more things, or maybe some more. As you saw, we have produced some videos that we released earlier last year on YouTube. And our YouTube address is Call-A.P.P.L.E Magazine. Call-A.P.P.L.E.Magazine. And I suspect Santa will be making more appearances in the future at random intervals, perhaps even around Christmas time. And thought you should see some of the things that we haven't released on YouTube, starting with one of Bill's favorites.
Hey there, Appleland. Santa here. Yes, it's that time of year again. Christmas. Well, I've got my naughty list. My nighty list. My nighty list. What's that with that?
Great.
Okay, cut.
I should add that the idea for these videos we had just before Bill was flying out of Japan, and Bill spent I scripted it. Bill more or less stayed on script, obviously not there, and recorded all of these videos in 1 hour. So I was frankly blown away what we were able to accomplish there. And this one. Let's see. Whoops. Okay. So yes, this one. Let's see here. Sorry about that. So for those of you who were sleeping, here's a quick review.
By the way, the speed read edition will be available for those who are extremely quick.
Yeah. I think I'm going to just...
That one.
You too can have a copy of all the magazine issues from 1978. Writings from some of your favorite Apple authors. Roger Wigginton. Wrong.
And this one really sums it up best, I think.
Hey there, Appleland. I forget who I am.
He never told me. Yes, that's a good guess, actually. And as among our many more one things, we are prepared to release the 1979 Call-A.P.P.L.E Compendium later this year. This one will be over 300 pages, an impressive advancement over the first year for a publication. And it does have a brand new foreword from Don Williams. And of course, that will be available in hardback and paperback.
If you guys don't know who Don Williams is,
Yes, please, Bill.
Don Williams was my mentor many years ago, and also the founder of the Apple Programmer Developers Association, or APTA, as it is known. So he's quite an impressive fella. I don't know if we've had him on the K-Fest guest speaker circuit yet. No?
He would be a great addition.
So APTA was developed by Don as an entity within APPLE, and Apple Computer Incorporated purchased APTA from us in 1988. And that's where you saw the changeover in the APTA log.
And of course, we never stop working. We love retro, we love Apple, and we do have other surprises planned, including another surprise, which Bill is going to mention, the particular disc.
Okay. I actually went searching for a software package. I don't know how many of you are associated with education, but one each Robert Gallup. Few people here might recognize his name. He wrote something called TurtleSoft, which we had back in the 1980s. Well, Robert, having only one copy of this in his library, sends Brian here this box, handmade wooden box, and in there is one solitary floppy.
Deep inside the deep box.
We have recovered that floppy. We have the original source, and that product will be available a few weeks after K-Fest with the original manual. So it is basically an extension for AppleSoft, which allows for logo style programming right straight at the AppleSoft prompt. So that will be available shortly.
And that's it. Does anybody have any questions, thoughts, commentary, love, anything? Yes, Charles.
All the ones that you announced will be available at the vendor fair?
In some form. By that I mean, of all the books we showed, we have a total of one copy of each, one paperback, one hardback. Feel free to rush to the front and trample me if you're interested in any of these. You're welcome to get them before the chaos of the vendor fair. And you know, I certainly have a reader set up, so if you wanted to buy a copy, you know, we could do an online order for you there if you wanted to do something like the Nibble book and get a bookmark.
Cool, thank you.
Sure. Oh, and I also, besides the bookmarks, I also have free Nibble postcards if anybody wants a nice little classy UV-coated Nibble postcard.
Vanna's trying to drop them on the floor.
Thank you, Vanna. Yes?
So I guess, is there a strategy around publishing things in page form that making them available via some?
Is there a what?
Like putting searchable PDFs or something like that?
We definitely have plans, like we had last year, to release an electronic version, probably in the iBookstore. So yes, it's something we've wanted. Like, for example, the WASPack. I've been wanting to do the WASPack in an ebook form for years. We've just been too busy. I couldn't suddenly say, oh, wow, Mike Harvey is coming in here. I'm going to do the ebook version of WASPack before Nibble Viewpoints. So things come up. We only have so much time, and 12 to 14 hours a day is about all the time I can devote. And Bill can devote.
Brian will have the ebook version of Nibble Viewpoints available tomorrow. Just kidding.
Right, thanks.
Just kidding.
Yes,
Actually,
I guess that's my Hackfest entry.
Actually, we had a discussion with Mike Harvey while he was here, and he expressed interest in having it in ebook form. So it will be a few weeks, but it will be available in the Apple bookstore here short-like. And by short-like, I mean a few weeks.
Well,
For things that are like general business, I probably still prefer to have that in paper form.
Yes, and
Right,
that's
right.
another thing that will
Right.
be
and just to counter what Bill said, it might be a little more than a few weeks. I don't want to promise a solid date other than to say it's a higher priority. And hope to get the WASPack in that form as well this year. Maybe some others, I really don't know. So, but yes, we would definitely like to do that.
This one will never be available in ebook form. I'm sorry. It's too big.
Yeah, I understand there's a limitation on ebooks, isn't there?
I don't know.
Any other questions? Yes?
Will you be reprinting any educational materials
The special smell.
We've got the squirrels and the mimeograph going in the back room for you, just for you, Greg.
Yeah, it's one of the things that kept us going. Thank you.